The message was in my voice. My own name. Spoken like I was talking in my sleep. Drawn out wrong. Like my voice recorded on a broken tape. Come back. You left him. Don't be afraid. You're already part of it. I swear to you, I never said those words. But somehow, the audio fingerprint was mine. That night, I found something I hadn't seen in years. It was an old digital camera from when Jacob and I were kids. I kept it in a shoebox with some of our camping photos. The battery was long dead, except it wasn't. When I powered it on, it booted straight to a video file I didn't recognize. It showed Jacob, sitting by a fire, in the exact same spot he went missing near Indian Lake. The date on the file was one day after the search was called off. He was muttering to himself. Half whisper, half prayer. Don't answer it. If you hear your name, don't answer. If you see your own face, don't speak. Then, without looking at the camera, he said, "It's going to try to become you." The file ends with the sound of twigs snapping and Jacob whipping around. Then static. I packed my gear that night. I didn't even think, I just knew I had to go back. I told myself I needed closure. But if I'm honest, I think I wanted to see him again. Even if it wasn't really him. I went alone. No ranger. No permits. Just like Jacob did. I took the same trail up, though most of it was blocked off now. Erosion, they said. I reached the clearing near the fire tower just after sunset. The air was too still. No bugs. No wind. Not even birdsong. I've been in deep woods before, but this was different. It was like the entire forest was holding its breath. I set up a small fire, just like Jacob had. I sat next to it with the compass he left me. I held it in my hand like a talisman. I didn't expect it to do anything, I just needed to feel connected to him. And then, I heard it. Footsteps. Slow. Deliberate. From the trees to the east. I called out, "Jacob?" The voice that answered sounded exactly like him. "Hey, it's me. You came back." I stood up. The fire crackled louder, like it was protesting. From the tree line, I saw a shape, tall, thin, hunched like a starving animal trying to stand upright. It stepped forward, just enough for the firelight to catch its face. It was my brother's face, but wrong. The eyes were missing. In their place were two deep, black sockets that reflected the firelight like glass. Its mouth moved, but the words didn't sink. Like a puppet with strings slightly offbeat. "You left me here. I had to learn. I had to feed." My legs didn't move. My voice caught in my throat. It was like I'd been hypnotized. Then it did something I'll never forget. It mimicked me. My exact voice. My laugh. The way I cleared my throat. It began to speak lines from my journal, things I wrote when I was 15. Things no one else could have known. I dropped the compass. It landed in the fire. And that's when it screamed. Not like a man. Not like any animal I've heard. It was this warped, ancient shriek, like rust being peeled off bone. The creature reeled back and vanished into the trees, moving in bursts, almost glitching through the dark. I didn't sleep. I left my pack, my gear, everything. I just ran. I made it back to my car at dawn. My ears bled from the altitude shift, or maybe something else. When I checked my phone, there was a new voicemail. The number had no area code. It was just 6 digits. I played it. A whisper barely audible. "You dropped your face in the fire. Now it can't find you." Then silence. This is it. My last entry. If you're hearing this, then either I did what I came to do, or I didn't make it back. After the last trip, the thing with the compass in the fire, the voicemail, I thought maybe I was free. But the dreams haven't stopped. I see Jacob every night. But it's not him. I see the fire tower. The way it leans now, crooked like it's trying to fall over but something won't let it. And the voice, always the voice. "Finish it. Or I'll wear someone else." I knew what I had to do. I didn't want to. But I knew. Bury the compass. Burn the tower. And maybe, the thing that's been wearing my brother will go with it. I brought everything: shovels, kerosene, a fire starter brick, and the compass, wrapped in Jacob's old bandana. The thing still feels warm in my hand sometimes, like it's breathing. I hiked the trail in silence. I didn't listen to music. I didn't talk. Didn't even think, really. It felt like walking into my own funeral. When I reached the clearing, the fire tower was still there, but it looked different. The metal struts were rusted like they'd aged 50 years. There were deep claw marks in the steps leading up. Something had been climbing it. Frequently. I dug a hole near the base of the tower. 3 feet deep. The dirt was soft, like it wanted to be opened. I didn't say any prayers. I didn't know any that would work against this. I placed the compass in the hole. For a second, I swore I felt Jacob's hand on mine. Not pulling away. Not warning. Just grateful. I doused the base of the tower. Kerosene soaked into the wood. I set the fire brick beneath the lowest support beam and sparked it. The flames took quickly. But the screaming started faster. Not human. Not animal. Not of this world. A shrieking like metal dying. Like 1,000 voices all trying to scream through one mouth. From the tower. From the trees. From inside my skull. I dropped to my knees. My ears were bleeding again. The flames climbed the tower like fingers grasping for the sky. And through the firelight, I saw it. Hanging from the middle platform, half cloaked in smoke and shadow, was a figure. Antlers catching fire. Skin blistering but not burning. A face melting, shifting between Jacob's, my own, even my mother's. Like it couldn't decide who it wanted to wear last. And then it jumped. Not down, into the fire. It chose to burn rather than be buried. The fire raged through the night. I stayed to make sure it didn't spread. And because I needed to see it all the way through. When dawn came, there was nothing left of the tower but blackened metal. And silence. Not the suffocating, breath-holding kind. Peaceful silence. No whispers. No mimicked voices. Just birdsong. I made it home yesterday. For the first time in months, I slept through the night. But when I woke up this morning, my phone buzzed. One new voicemail. Unknown number. I almost deleted it. But then I heard it. Jacob's real voice. Not the mimic. Thank you? It's quiet now. Let it stay that way. And then the line cut out. No static. No distortion. Just quiet. I wasn't sure I'd ever tell this story. My brother Jacob went missing in the Adirondack Mountains in 2019. It was supposed to be a weekend trip. Just him and 2 friends, Evan and Chase, hiking up to an old fire tower near Indian Lake. That was the plan. They were all experienced hikers. Jacob especially. He grew up with a compass in one hand and a Leatherman in the other. The woods were his second home. But Jacob didn't come back. Evan and Chase did. Sort of. The thing is, they weren't right when they came down. I was there when the rangers pulled them off the trail, days after the search started. Evan wouldn't speak. Chase just kept repeating the same thing. It wasn't a bear. That wasn't AF *****ing bear. The official report says Jacob likely succumbed to exposure or a fall. But that doesn't explain the note they found in his tent. Or the claw marks. Or the fact that the GPS in his pack was completely fried, like it had been hit with an EMP. Jacob kept a trail journal. Not like a diary, just short blurbs. Weather, direction, general notes. But the last entry, man, I still have it burned into my brain. It's written in this frantic scrawl, like his hand was shaking. Something is following us. Evan says it's just a deer, but I saw its face. It stood like a man. Antlers. But no eyes. Just holes. I'm not sleeping tonight. That entry was dated 2 days before he vanished. Chase told me, when he finally got lucid enough to talk, that they saw it around twilight. It was standing just off the trail on a ridge. At first, they thought it was a moose. But it was too thin. Its limbs were too long. It just stood there, perfectly still, even as they shouted at it. Chase said Jacob stared at it for a long time before saying, "I think it's mimicking a deer." And then Jacob said something weird. "Don't say its name." He didn't mean deer. He meant something else. Something he'd heard about. Later that night, Jacob made them build a fire. Huge, like a bonfire, even though they were miles deep in state land. He kept repeating, "It doesn't like fire. It can't cross flame." The next morning, Jacob was gone. No sign of struggle. No blood. His boots were still at the tent. His boots. Anyone who hikes knows you don't just wander barefoot in the Adirondacks, not unless you're out of your mind or being led. The search team found strange things, claw marks 8 feet up a pine tree, and piles of rocks that weren't there before. A volunteer with AK-9 units swears his dog refused to go past a certain bend in the trail, tail tucked, whining, refusing to move. I tried to get help. I posted about it on Reddit, on Missing 411 forums. Most said it was a bear, maybe drugs, maybe trauma. But then I got an email from an unlisted address. It just said, "Look up the Wendigo. Don't go back there. It mimics voices now." And here's the part that still wakes me up at night. A year later, I got a voicemail. It was from Jacob's number. He's been dead for a year. The message was distorted, static and garbled, but I swear to you, I could hear his voice. "It's cold. Don't look at its eyes. Don't listen. It's not me." There was a sound behind his voice, too. Something like crunching snow, or bones breaking. I've played it for audio texts. None of them can explain it. The metadata says it came from a location in the middle of the Adirondacks. No towers, no service, just deep forest. I haven't gone back since. But I still hear things at night sometimes. Something scraping at the edges of my dreams. And sometimes, I hear a voice calling my name from the woods behind my house. It sounds like Jacob. But I know it's not. I tried to move on. After that voicemail from Jacob's number, I changed phones. I even got a landline again, thinking maybe I could shut it out if I stayed disconnected. But it didn't stop. A week after that message, I woke up to find my front door open. I live alone. Nothing was missing. Nothing moved, except one thing. On the kitchen counter, next to my coffee maker, was Jacob's compass. It was cracked down the middle, like someone had stomped it. I hadn't seen that thing since the Rangers returned his pack, and it was not in the pack when they gave it back to us. I didn't call the police. What was I gonna say? My dead brother dropped off a broken compass in my kitchen. They'd throw me in a psych ward. That night I barely slept. Around 3:30 a.m., I started hearing it again, the voice. Just barely audible, coming from the woods behind my backyard. "Hey, it's me. I need help." Jacob's voice. Except it was off. Like it was reading the words from a script it didn't understand. Too slow. No rhythm. Like something trying to sound human. I recorded it on my phone. I can send it to you, but don't listen to it with headphones. Every time I play it back, I hear something new in the background. A whisper behind the whisper. The next morning, I found tracks in the snow behind the house. Bare feet. No shoes. No tread. But they weren't normal footprints either. The toes were too long. They curled like claws. I started digging, into Jacob's journals, into native legends, even some restricted digital archives from a cryptid database out of Montana. And I kept seeing the same phrase. Once you know the Wendigo is watching you, it's already too late. I know it sounds crazy, but I think Jacob knew what he was dealing with before he vanished. He'd been obsessed with Wendigo stories for months before that trip. There's even a note in his email I found. It mimics. It feeds on voice, memory, fear. It finds you when you're alone. I don't think it ever left that forest. I think it followed me. A few nights ago, I had a dream. It wasn't like a normal nightmare, it felt guided. Like something else was dreaming it for me. I was standing in that old fire tower, the one they were headed toward. The forest below looked wrong, like it was alive, breathing. The trees were bending, watching. And then I saw Jacob. He was at the edge of the clearing, looking up at me. His mouth was open like he was screaming, but there was no sound. Just a buzzing. Like static. Like radio interference. Then something stepped out behind him. It was tall. Thin. Antlers like tree roots twisting into the sky. Its skin looked dry, like bark peeled back to reveal raw meat underneath. No eyes. Just those holes. Endless, rotting holes where a face should have been. I woke up sweating, gasping for air, and every window in my house was open. Even the one in the attic. I don't know how much longer I can stay here. Last night I got another voicemail. But this time, it wasn't Jacob's voice. It was mine.